Hi friends, I just wanted to sit down and chat and give you a few tips if you're just starting out on Weight Watchers. My name is Brandy and I've been on my journey about 7 months now. And Weight Watchers was the first diet I've ever done in my life. I've tried to, watch what I've eat in the past or whatever, but I've never truly done a diet. And so when I started Weight Watchers, I was surprised how well it worked for me. And in the past 7 months, I am down 33.1 pounds, I believe. And just for a little bit of context, I am 40 years old and I'm 5'7". So just for that. And currently with the WW personal points, sorry, I have my notes down here. I get 21 weekly points and I get 27 daily points. And the only 0 point foods I have are non-starchy fruits and vegetables and then chicken. And that's all I get. And then also on an average week, I typically will gain about 36 to 40 weeklies in addition. I don't always eat them all, but I do eat most of my weeklies. And my weeks out in weigh-in date is on Mondays. So that's just a little bit about me. So let's get into the tips. Now I have them narrowed down to like 5 tips and maybe a bonus tip or two. So my first tip is when you first subscribe to the app or if you're going in-person meetings is to just track your meals for the first 2 weeks. Don't worry about changing what you're already eating. Most likely you've already grocery shopped or you have food in your house. Just go ahead and track that food for at least 2 weeks. And the reasons I think this is a good idea, one, just gets you in the habit of tracking everything. And then also it opens your eyes to how many points items are. That way you don't have like the sticker shock of higher point items. Like I can remember when I first scanned a Dr. Pepper about diet, I think it was like 9 points, and I got 20 something points a day. I'm like, holy moly, what am I gonna do? So that way, if you're scanning at the beginning before you're trying to implement changes, you won't be so discouraged when you see high point foods. And also, before Weight Watchers, if you would have asked me if I was a healthy eater, I'd have said yes. Like I love fruits, I love vegetables and that sort of thing. However, when you tracked my points, it told a different story. So it was eye-opening. My second tip is don't go all in right at the beginning. And I know this may sound shocking, but I really think if you try to revamp every meal you have and get, within your points every day within the first 1 or 2 weeks you're subscribing to Weight Watchers, you're going to feel defeated. And I'm a planner and I love to pre-plan. So after my 2 weeks initial of just tracking everything I ate, I sat down and I was going to plan the whole week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks, and count out my points. And after an hour, I was so frustrated. I was almost in tears. And I told my husband, I was like, this is just not doable. And I'm a meal planner. I typically meal plan. So what I did instead, I backed up and I said, hey, I was stopping for breakfast out quite a bit then because I was working 2 jobs and whatnot. So I was like, let me reverse this and just try to make better choices for some of the meals. So I started with my breakfast, and I think that first week of meal planning, I made some like banana oats and maybe a couple breakfast sandwiches. And I got in the habit of, eating a lower point breakfast. And then I would also then switch and add on eating a lower point lunch. So I have never been able to pre-plan all meals with all my points. Rather, I just learned lower point options for all my meals and then worked them in together. Does that make sense? And this also, not going all in immediately, helps you clear out things you already have in your house. I mean, I know for me, I decided to start this journey and I still had a ton of snacks in my pantry and I don't want to waste food. So I did clear out my I don't want to call them unhealthy, but the Weight Watchers foods I had that weren't Weight Watchers friendly. Okay, let's put it like that. And there is a huge learning curve. So if you don't go all in, I don't think you'll be all discouraged. You get what I'm saying? Like, take it bit by bit. Just start healthy choices. The first thing I did was drop my Dr. Pepper. And I went to Dr. Pepper Zero. And I was shocked because I'm not a diet drinker. And I was able to make that change within a week. So that was impressive to me. And it's because I was like, I can't spend 9 points on this. And I only had one Dr. Pepper a day. So in my head, I was like, that's not that bad. Well, turns out it is that bad. Okay. And my third tip is track everything, even your 0 point foods. And the one reason I find this most helpful is that the WW app does not give you a calorie breakdown. So at any point, if you're concerned you were eating not enough or too many calories, you can always go back and click on each food item and write down the calories and then add them all up. And I've done this a few times because there was one time that I just felt like I wasn't getting enough calories, and I did the math and I was getting the perfect amount of calories, but I wasn't sure if I should be eating my weeklies or not eating my weeklies. And doing this math helped me. And it also holds you accountable. I know nowadays everyone has different 0 point foods, and you may think you're eating an okay portion of those potatoes, but if you're really not tracking it, it's probably like not in your mind how many you're actually eating, if that makes sense. And so my fourth tip is watch a ton of YouTube. I mean, obviously you're a YouTube person, you're watching this video, so you're already there. But I really started off watching grocery hauls because when I first went to the grocery store and before watching YouTube videos, I was scanning everything. I think I was in the store like 2 hours, and again, I was discouraged because stuff was advertised as healthy or low cal, and then I'd scan it and it would be a ton of points because we know Weight Watchers hate sugar, right? So what I did is I came home and I started Googling like top WW snacks, and then that led me to grocery hauls, WW friendly grocery hauls, and then ultimately what I eat in a day. And these are so helpful, not only for grocery shopping, but just getting meal ideas. And so you'll quickly find some people you like and you like their personality, and maybe they cook like that same style of food you like. And you'll learn some options. YouTube is your friend on WW for sure. However, this leads me to my final tip, and that is do not do what all the people on YouTube following WW do. And by this, I mean, there's a ton of people on WW on YouTube that have been on WW for a really long time and have great success with WW. And they will say stuff like, oh, I don't count my coffee, or oh, I don't count my oils I cook with. Or if they scan some candy and it scans as 7 points, they may say, well, this is only 150 calories, so I count it as 4 points. I highly discourage that at the beginning of Weight Watchers, because the whole point of Weight Watchers is not just calorie counting. It is to lean you towards better choices, which includes higher fiber, higher protein, lower sugars. So if you're just constantly adjusting points based upon the calories, you're not getting the benefits of what WW is trying to teach you. And I totally understand why the people who've been on WW for a really long time and have had great success are doing it. And I feel like it's because they already have learned the WW program and had success with it, and they're at the stage in their journey where they can count back, and they're well aware of how much they can cut back, I should say, and still have a success. But if you're just starting off with WW, I highly suggest not to follow these trends, at least not at the beginning. You're not giving WW a fair shot if you don't take the points they are suggesting. And I do think that other people on YouTube that have been in the community forever would probably agree with me on that. At the beginning, count everything as WW says to count it. Oh, just a bonus thing is I read a lot of pages and people are saying they don't feel like they have enough points, especially since the personal points kicked in November. And at first I felt the same way. And then I realized if you take the quiz and answer the questions a certain way, you're ultimately only having to pick one protein for a 0 point food. So, and mine is chicken. So I was previously the green plan. If you don't know anything about the colors, don't worry about it. It was how WW was before this November. but I was able to get the same zero foods, fruits and vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, I should say, and then just add chicken as a 0 point food. And so that bumps my points up to 27, and I think I had 32 on the grade plan. So if you're not happy with the number of points and you're not a person that tends to enjoy eating the same foods like over and over throughout the week, take your quiz again and have less 0 point foods. It works for me. So, and that's really all I have to say. I hope these have been helpful and it wasn't too much rambling. This was really hard to film. Felt like I was stumbling over my words a lot, but I have a good intentions. And I just want to say, stay strong. And if you do mess up and maybe have like a bad day, say your points were blown out the water, just forgive yourself and move on. Continue to track. Don't just say, well, this week's blown or this day's blown. No, just forgive yourself. It happens. It's going to happen. It's going to happen your whole life. It's how you deal with it after it happens that matters. So just track and move on. And every day is a new day and every week's a new week. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tips and tricks. Bye.